John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this is one of the ones you probably guys been waiting for a long time. Basically, I'm going to talk about all the different name brand, high-end, top-end vertical single auger juicers on the market at this time. You know, these are just the pick of the litter, you know, the best of the best, the ones that you will want to consider if you're buying a vertical single auger juicer. You know, some of the companies also make different models. These are the newest ones, so these are the only ones that I recommend. Sometimes, as in the case of the Omega Vert, their old models are just fine, but the new model has a few new features that I like a lot more. That's why I'm going to talk about all the latest and greatest models. Now, if it's not one of these brands that you're seeing on the table, if it's another brand of vertical single auger juicer you are considering, I would highly discourage you guys against it. All the vertical auger juicers you see on the table today are manufactured in Korea. This is where the vertical single auger juicer originated. There are many knockoffs now being made in China. So the Koreans invented the technology, perfected the technology of the vertical single auger juicer, and then it came out, and then China saw the machines basically and knocked it off. So these machines have been through many years and years of revisions and upgrades to dial it in to make them perform the best with minimal clogging when used properly. Many of the Chinese models, number one, don't produce the same yield. You could get 30-40% less yield actually. It will clog up. You will not have the same amount of warranty on it. May have parts that contain BPA. Many of these juicers are actually BPA free. So I recommend sticking with one of the top brands. And yes, they will cost more, but you know what? You guys get what you pay for. And the thing I want to mention first off is that my favorite juicers, which are on this side of the table, have a 10+ year warranty. So that means you're going to have to buy a juicer once, you know, and then you'll have it for the next 10, or in the case of the Omega Vert 400, 15 years. You'll not have to worry about buying another juicer. Think about it. If you bought a car and it lasted for 15 years, guaranteed, right? You'd never have to buy another car, except maybe change the brakes and put gas in, of course. How would that be? Well, juicers are like that. Not many appliances you can say are, you know, literally a one-time purchase and you're going to have for a long period of time. So in any case, with that, let's get into the comparison. So in the comparison today, we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the pros and cons of each one. I'm not going to get into specific juice offs or comparing yields, other than me speaking about my experiences with all the different juicers. I do have specific videos where I compare, you know, different juicers against each other so that you guys could see the exact yields that they make when juicing the exact same amount of items. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and go over each of the machines. Over on this side, we got the Khurram 2-in-1 juicer. This is actually a stainless steel here inset. Actually looks kind of nice. But that's probably where it ends, you know. For me, the Khurram is probably my least favorite of all the machines on the table today, and there's a few main reasons. Number one reason is the short warranty. This machine has a 2-year warranty on the entire machine, which is ridiculous. All the other machines have a 10 or 15-year warranty. That's 5 times the warranty length, or more actually. And I think that's where it really falls short. You know, you're going to spend a ton of money on a juicer, and if it breaks in 3 years, you're going to have to buy parts. And let me tell you, some of the parts for this machine, they get quite expensive. So I don't want you guys to go down that, you know, dead-end road. I want you guys to order a machine that's going to be have a long warranty so that you will have the parts, you will get the service at no charge to you, so you won't have to pay any extra. That the company won't nickel and dime you, you know, to the end. Okay, so another thing I don't particularly care for about this juicer is it's a 2-in-1 juicer. You're thinking, but John, it's a 2-in-1 juicer, man. It juices and it makes smoothies. That must be good, right? That's you know, not a good idea. Because think about it. Things that have dual purpose functions in most cases are not as good as, you know, something that has a singular function. And so that such is the case with our Khurram juicer here. What they've done so that you can't have the smoothie function on the bottom here, most of the juicers actually have a flap on the bottom that's a silicone flap that self-regulates the pressure, and it keeps back pressure on the pulp to only let the pulp out when it gets it dry. So that means all the other juices on this table will get a higher yield when juicing, because the Khurram, what it simply has here, has a little lever control for open or close. If you have it on open, then you're set up for juice mode, and when it's in juice mode, there is no back pressure on the pulp, so you're going to get ejected pulp that's coming out wet. Now when you're getting pulp coming out of your juicer that's ejected wet, that means you're throwing money down the drain, because there is still juice left over in that pulp that you're not getting, right? On the same token, when you do put it on the smoothie and you put it on to close, then basically it mushes everything up and runs it through a sieve. Now, in my opinion, a blender is the proper machine to do and to make a smoothie. It works much more effectively. This, while I say it's a smoothie, I would say more of it's a pseudo smoothie. So I'm not a big fan of the Khurram due to these few reasons. One of the cool things about the Khurram is it has a little cover here, a little dust cover, that actually none of the other machines come with. I kind of do like that. I mean, the thing you're going to learn watching this video today is that every machine has its pros and cons, and you're going to have to figure out, which machine will best meet your needs, because I surely know which one best meets mine. Alright, the next one on the table I like a lot is the Omega Vert. These two guys, the Khurram and the Vert, believe it or not, are made in the same factory. The only difference is who is importing them. So Khurram is importing the Khurram, and Omega, a US-based company, is importing the Omega. They share similar augers and some other similar parts, and the performance, actually the Omega Vert will blow away the Khurram just due to the design. Omega's smart. They set this up as a juicer only. They're not trying to sell it as a smoothie maker. Omega sells blenders if you want to get a blender. The other thing I like about the Omega Vert 400 is that it has a 15-year warranty. The 15-year warranty blows away all the warranties on the table. I mean, this guy has a 2-year warranty on all the parts. 15 years right here. I mean, what? That's 7.5 times longer warranty. That's insane. I mean, a 15-year warranty is insane. If you're like really one of those penny pincher people and want to not have to buy juice for the next 15 years, you're going to want to get the Vert 400. So the Vert 400 I like a lot. And it works quite well, actually. They've taken the Vert 350 design, they've kind of improved it, in a few small ways, including making the outlet port a little bit larger, including also having the little juice flap here, so you can do some mixing inside the juicer, also so that you don't have drips on your countertop when you're done cleaning up. In addition, the Vert 400 actually has a really easy, lift-off system, so that assembly and disassembly is easier. Another thing I like about the Vert 400 is that it's fairly bulletproof. Because Omega has been selling the Omega 330, 350, and now 400 models, this is just a tried and true model. So I mean, that's pretty much where it stands with the Omega Vert 400. Next, let's get into the Slow Star. But before I do, I want to talk about just this vertical auger style machine in general. So the vertical auger style machines that you guys are seeing here are my favorite juicers at this time. Does that mean it's going to be your favorite juicer? Not necessarily. These juicers are pretty much all-purpose juicers. They're going to juice pretty much everything fairly well. They're going to do probably one of the best jobs at juicing fruits. They're going to do a decent job at juicing hard vegetables, and they're going to do a decent job at juicing leafy greens. Now if you said, John, I only juice hard vegetables, should I get one of these? I'd say probably not. You might want to get a centrifugal ejection style machine, the kind that you might actually already have now. They produce a higher yield on the hard vegetables actually than these guys. The problem is the centrifugal ejection machines also produce a lower nutrition content in the juice, and nutrition is actually quite important to me. If you said, hey John, I want to juice only fruits, should I get one of these guys? Well, I would say if you want to juice only fruits, I would probably actually encourage you guys to get a blender. A blender is a much better appliance to process your fruits, in my opinion. You're going to keep the fiber in there, or I would just recommend eating the fruits whole, using your nature's juicers or blenders, your teeth, to break up the fibers in the fruit, because fruit is so soft, it's so delicious, and I think we should just be eating them straight up or blending them to get all the fiber. In addition, the fiber is going to slow down the absorption of the sugars into your bloodstream, and when you're juicing and taking out the fiber, it may give you more of a sugar rush, so I'm not into that. That being said, fruits can be juiced, and if you do choose and want to juice fruits, you should select the proper fruits. If you select soft and mushy fruits, they're not going to juice well in any juicer. You need to select hard and firm fruits. If you pick up an apple at the store and you can press your finger in it, it leaves a little dent mark and it's bruising it, that's not a good apple to juice. You want to get a nice firm apple that's really crisp, that you can't stick your finger in. These fruits, whether it's apples or anything else, are going to juice the best. If you do want to juice mostly fruits, then the vertical single augers, are my top pick for a single stage juicer for juicing fruits, because they actually do it quite well. Now, if you're one of those people, John, I know leafy greens are probably one of the best things to juice in the whole world, and I want to juice a lot of leafy greens, and I'm going to juice, the majority of what I'm juicing is leafy greens. Then I would probably say you probably don't want one of these vertical auger juicers. While they do juice leafy greens quite well, and many of my juices have a lot of leafy greens within them, I do not do straight leafy greens all too often. And when I do, I use a different juicer, and that's what I'd recommend to you if you want to do mostly or all leafy greens, or if you want to juice a lot of wheatgrass. While these juicers will also juice wheatgrass, it can make a lot of squeaking noise and not optimal. The wheatgrass may clog up this juicer and not let it eject the pulp because of the design of these machines. So then I would recommend a horizontal single auger style machine. My favorite horizontal single auger machines at this time are the Omega NC800 and the TriBest Solo Star 3. So if you're one of those people that just like, John, I'm just going to juice everything, I don't really think I'm going to focus on anything, well then keep watching this video, because you're going to want to learn about these next two machines. These next two machines are the best of the vertical single auger machines at this time, and each one has their own set of pros and cons. So up until now, both these machines will make either smoothies or juice. This one will only do juice. Both these machines will also make nut milks, as will these guys. They'll also make nut milks. But these machines are a little bit different. They have special attachments to allow you to do more than just juice. So the Slow Star comes with a separate attachment, and this whole setup goes on top of the machine. TriBest calls this the mincing attachment. I would tend to call it the homogenizing attachment. So instead of just a simple design change where they put a little lever, this is a whole different attachment that actually goes on top of the juicer. You take off the juicing apparatus, you put the auger in here, and now you have an instant grinder. You can grind your coffee beans into ground coffee. You can actually put frozen bananas through here to make a frozen banana sorbet, which is a great treat on a hot summer's day, or an excellent way to get ice cream with all the added fat and sugars and GMO corn syrup out of your diet, and get more fruits into your diet so that you can get healthier. Another thing you can do with this is to make nut butter. So roasted peanuts will go through this unit and make a nice crunchy style peanut butter. I always encourage you guys to make and process your own foods at home for the highest quality. In this day and age, it's quite unfortunate that many food manufacturers will add in preservatives and BHA, BHT, and all these ingredients, so you never really know what you're buying and what's in your food. But if you make yourself, you're going to be able to eat the highest quality food. So this attachment also works for mincing. So I have made things like salsa, just putting in chopped up tomatoes through here and onions and cilantro, and it's going to chop it up into that perfect salsa consistency every single time. Another way I have used this is to make my own sauerkraut. So I simply put the cabbage through here, it mushes it all up, gets a lot of juice out. I'll then stick this in and ferment it into my own sauerkraut. So this attachment comes in very, very handy, and actually I like it a lot. No other juicer has this specific attachment to do all the functions that the Slow Star can. So the Slow Star by far is the most versatile machine on the whole table. Another thing I like about the Slow Star is that it includes a few different components. So while many of the machines on the table include an accessory strainer, except the Kuvings whole slow juicer, which I think every manufacturer should be including, the Slow Star actually takes it to the next level, and they include a high quality strainer with their machine. It's 100% stainless steel here, high quality, with a nice tight weave. I like nice tight things, including a nice tight weave on my strainer to get out all the pulp if you desire that pulp-free juice. Because one of the things that many people don't realize is that all the machines on this table, vertical single auger machines in general, produce more pulp in the juice than virtually all other style machines. This is particularly a problem if you're coming from a centrifugal ejection machine like a Jack LaLanne or a Breville or something like that, that produces very little pulp in the machine, in the juice. And you're like, I don't like the juice of the new one, man, it makes too much pulp. Well, you know, you can choose to drink the pulp, nothing wrong with it. Some people like pulpy juice, and if you don't, I like that the Slow Star includes the highest quality strainer. Of course, the Khurram and the Omega also include a strainer as well. Another thing I like about the Slow Star is that they have a really cool design cleaning brush. I mean, this is the most advanced cleaning brush because not only do they have the standard toothbrush end to clean out the screen is the hardest part to clean on any vertical slow juicer. It also has this little cleaning brush on the top that lets you get into some of the nooks and crannies that the other machines do not have. But in addition, it also has a little raked screwdriver tip end. This can be very convenient for getting some of the pulp out of the pulp ejection port. So I do like that a lot. Now, in addition, the Slow Star also comes with an instruction book with a few recipes in it, which I definitely think is a good way to go. So based on that, I do like the Slow Star a lot, but it's really tough to compare the Slow Star to the Kuvings whole slow juicer because once again, each one has their pros and cons. I'd say the Slow Star a little bit more versatile because it does have that whole attachment to do the grinding, the sorbets, the nut butters, you know, the salsas and grind coffee and coffee grinds. And it also comes with a strainer and all this kind of stuff, and it grinds better, so you're going to get a higher yield. That being said, the Kuvings is definitely another one you're going to want to consider. Now, the main thing with the Kuvings is that, unlike all the other machines on the table, it has a wide 3-inch feed chute. All the other machines on the table have a smaller feed chute, including both the Khurram and the Omega Vert here. Now, the Kuvings has a 10-year warranty as well, so I like that a lot. And on the Kuvings, it has a few features that I like a lot. I mean, number one, it has that 3-inch wide feed chute. So this means you're going to do minimal preparation on juicing many produce items such as carrots and apples and oranges and, you know, cucumbers, things like that. But if you're juicing leafy greens, just because it has a large feed chute doesn't mean you can just stuff leafy greens or celery in there. Leafy greens and celery need to be pre-cut on any of these slow juicers to work properly, otherwise you will get clogging on the ejection port. The reason for this is on these machines, the pulp has to come down and make a right angle turn and come out, and those long fibers like in the celery or even on the stalks of leafy greens will get stuck in this port. Then you'll get clogging, then the yield that you're making will go down and the pulp in the juice will dramatically rise. So I do have specific videos on, you know, how to properly use the Omega Vert for best results. If you just do a Google search for Omega Vert best practices. I also have a similar video for the Slow Star juicer, you know, do Slow Star juicer best practices or how to use. You'll see my video on that. I do not yet have one on the Kuvings whole slow juicer, but intend to do that soon. But basically, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to pre-cut your leafy greens and celery into 1/8 inch pieces. That's 1/8 inch pieces. That's this wide for best results. Now, if you don't want to cut in 1/8 inch pieces, you know, you could cut them larger, but it might not work as well. I mean, I've juiced many times where I cut into 1-inch pieces, but depending on the quantity of juice you want to make, like if I'm just making a cup, yeah, you could probably cut into large pieces. But if you want to crank through and juice like 64 ounces in one sitting, if you're not cutting it in small pieces, it's going to back up and not work well for you at all. So I really encourage you guys to watch those videos. So aside from that, cutting many things is going to be easier on the Kuvings. One of the things I don't like about the Kuvings is that all of these machines have a funnel. This helps you guide and put things into the machine. The Kuvings, because it has a 3-inch wide feed chute, figure they don't need a funnel. Actually, I personally do not like this because say you want to put in grapes or cherry tomatoes, right? If you miss the hole, they're going to fall on your counter. I like the funnels on the machine so that it funnels the produce into the machine. Of course, another thing I like on the Kuvings is a little stopper here, and the stopper will prevent drips on your counter and also allow you to mix things inside the juicer. Now let's talk about a few more features of the Kuvings whole slow juicer that the other machines do not have. Number one, they have a blank plate. I've been telling Omega for the longest time to make a blank plate so that people can do nut butters and frozen banana sorbets in the Omega Vert. They've never come out with one to date, but I'm glad that Kuvings did. Now, be aware, while this is a blank plate, it will not do all the things that the Slow Star juicer will do with this one because they don't exactly operate the same. This one, as you guys can see, has a really wide ejection port, and when you're using the blank plate in the Kuvings whole slow juicer, you're restricted by this little star pattern inside the juice spout. This is so that you can't stick your fingers in there. This prevents wide things that are ground up with the blank plate to be ejected out. So Kuvings only sells this blank plate for use by making nut butters or frozen banana sorbets. Nothing else do they approve of putting in the juicer with this blank plate. It will void your warranty. So I do think that is a hindrance actually on the part of the Kuvings whole slow juicer. I wish they didn't have this hindrance. Then I would like a lot more. Yeah, the Slow Star is just a little bit more versatile with its mincing plate that you could pretty much mince anything in. But I'm glad at least Kuvings has made an attempt and has included this with their machine. Now, there are special use instructions included with the Kuvings whole slow juicer when using this. You do need to freeze, say, your bananas, and you want to pre-cut them before freezing. And then when you freeze them, take them out, and before putting in your machine, Kuvings recommends you thaw them out for a little while so they're softer before putting them through the machine with a blank plate. So I do like that they have a blank plate. I'm just a little bit saddened that it's not as versatile as the Slow Star. The next thing I like about the Kuvings, and where all the other companies should take a lesson about, is the cleaning. Cleaning is the hardest aspect of any of these machines, which turns many people off to juicing. I get the emails all the time, John, I would use a juicer only if it was easier to clean. You know, unfortunately nobody's invented a self-cleaning juicer at this time, although all the vertical juicers are fairly self-cleaning. One of the tips I would recommend to use, once you're done juicing in any of the vertical slow juicers that I have on the table today, you're going to take like a pitcher of water, like 32 ounces of water, and pour it through the machine and, you know, catch the water as it comes out where the juice normally comes out. This will help flush solids and things through the machine, thereby making cleaning easier as the first step. I show this specifically in how to use the Slow Star juicer video. So that's number one. Number two, Kuvings provides not only one brush, like many companies provide one cleaning brush, Kuvings provides 3 brushes. There's no other company on earth providing 3 cleaning brushes to save you cleaning time so that you could get on with your life and do other things that are more important than cleaning your juicer. So let me go ahead and show you guys the 3 different cleaning brushes they include with the Kuvings whole slow juicer. So here are the cleaning brushes with the Kuvings whole slow juicer. Number 1, you get a standard toothbrush cleaning brush, and I like this a lot. The main thing with the toothbrush cleaning brush is it has a nice hard stiff bristle. The ones on the Slow Star, not quite as stiff as I'd like. This is a nice stiff bristle that's really going to be good for getting in that screen and cleaning that screen. Although I don't like that they don't have really a good little end here like the rake end on the Slow Star. Much better designed tool here. Let me go ahead and show you guys, the hardest part to clean on any juicer here. It's actually the juicing screen. So we're going to go ahead and take this out, and this is a patent pending design auger, which basically allows you to put the whole fruits in. Oh, and while we're talking about that, on the Kuvings, actually, the Kuvings has the most powerful motor of all the machines on this table. I mean, literally the motor being more powerful is required because, the juicer is expecting to have a lot of things in that are 3-inch wide in diameter. So it needs to have a lot more torque to snap off that produce and to get it juiced. So here's the juicing screen. This is the hardest part to clean on any machine, and with the stiff bristles you can actually scrub this out on the outside and also on the inside. Now, Kuvings had made the screen cleaning significantly easier because a screen takes the most time of any of the parts to clean on the vertical single auger machines by making a special cleaning tool, and here it is. This nice design tool. I mean, I think all the companies should have a tool such as this. Literally all you do, you take your screen, you take the tool, pop it in there and check it out. You just turn this and these brushes are in the right position when you turn it to clean the screen. Now they could make this better by having one that makes a U that could clean both sides at the same time, but at this time it just cleans the outside, and then you're going to need this other cleaning brush to just clean the inside, and that's going to happen really quickly and easily with the Kuvings whole slew juicer. Another brush that's not included on the other juicers are a brush like this. This is basically like a pipe brush, right? Now the pipe brush is quite important because it allows you to get into the juicing spout and clean in the juicing spout. I mean, this is something that you can't really do with the standard brush on some of the other machines. You can't really get in there too effectively. This really allows you to get in there to clean your machine so that you have a brand new looking machine each and every time. So I do like that they include literally all these 3 brushes, taking it to the next level, and I like that when companies do that. I want to encourage the other companies to come out with different cleaning brushes to improve the user experience. I mean, that's what I'm all about. I personally like the machines that are the top of the echelon. These 2 machines sit on my counter. These are the 2 machines I use. Why? Because the Slow Star is the highest yield because the Kuvings, a lot more convenient, easy to use, and easy to clean. Let me go ahead and reassemble this guy real quick. So the last thing I like about the Kuvings whole slow juicer is that it comes with a standard instruction manual, which is very important. I always encourage you guys to read your instruction manual before use. I also would encourage you highly to watch my videos, because sometimes I say things in my videos that's actually not said in the instruction manual, like particularly how specifically to juice for the highest and best results and minimal jamming, because to my knowledge none of the manufacturers go into detail on how I share and what I've learned over these years using the vertical single auger juicers. So besides just the standard instruction manual that Kuvings has, which every of the companies have, they actually also have a nice little whole slow juicer recipe book. Now the Khurram also does come with a recipe book, not quite as nice as the Kuvings. I mean, this is what every juicer company should come out with. I mean, people buy juicers, and I mean, if I buy a juicer, I know what to do with the juicer, but the problem is most of you guys are going to get the juicer for the first time have no idea what to do with the juicer. You don't know the recipes you could make, you don't know how to combine different fruits and vegetables to make juices like I would know, and I actually share in my videos, and you guys need some guidance. So I think it's a recipe book like this. I mean, this is the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer recipe book, nice full color. I think the next thing they could do is if they made it actually stand up on your kitchen counter so that you could actually leaf through it and see the recipes as it's sitting there instead of having it lie flat. So in addition, in this recipe book they go over specific directions for use, but also they have different recipes. I mean, this is a wealth of knowledge. It's so cool. I mean, we got basic juices, vegetable juices in section 1. Then we have a section for nutritious juices and baby foods. Then go into the next section, we have a section for cool fruit juice cocktails. Look at those pictures. I mean, I like that this is a nice color book, and it gives you specifically the recipes, how to make the recipe, how to do it, what you'll need, how to prepare everything. And then finally the last section in here is smoothies and frozen desserts. So I think this is really cool that they're providing this to give you some starter recipes. I mean, this book is like nearly 100 pages. And this is one of the things that actually, aside from the Khurram, you do not get a nice recipe book to get you started on the right path to the road to health. I do hope that Kuvings and other companies will come out with books like this and even expand it more, make it like 200 pages with other healthy plant-based recipes so that people can eat more plants instead of all the different processed foods and animal products, because that is truly the power of the juicers here, any of them. They'll allow you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, and I am a fruit and vegetable advocate by all means. So hopefully after watching this episode, you've learned more about the top of the top vertical slow juicers currently on the market. And as you guys learn, each juicer has their pros and cons. I'm going to quickly go over some of the points that I want you guys to remember. Number 1, I would steer clear of the Khurram slow juicer. With its 2-in-1 knob, it's going to reduce the juice yield and not really make smoothies as well as a blender anyways, and it has a high price tag and a short warranty. Steer clear of that. The Mega Vert has a 15-year warranty. It's by far the longest warranty of any of the juicers that I'm sharing with you guys today, and it's backed by Omega, the longest juicing company that's being represented today. They've been in business in the USA for many years now, and I'm highly confident they are not going anywhere. Also, this is a good solid performer with an easy lift off, which means easier cleaning, less clogging, and it's got the little juice spout here. So yes, definitely a really good machine. Next, we got the TriBest Slow Star juicer. The TriBest Slow Star juicer has a 10-year warranty, backed up by TriBest, who has been in business for the last 25 years. This one has the highest yield of all the juicers I've tested to date, without doing particular side-by-side tests on these two guys yet, but just from my observations. In addition, it has that nice stainless steel strainer. Also includes that 2-in-1 attachment to have full 2-in-1 functionality, more so than any other machines on the table. Finally, we got the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, the newest entry into the market. Has a full 10-year warranty. Kuvings is a solid company. I visited their factory in Korea. They actually make the motors in their factory that go into the machine. It has the wide feed chute, which is beyond huge for ease of use and convenience. You may pay a little bit of a price because the yield might not be as good as a Slow Star, but I haven't compared them side by side yet. But the convenience factor is really nice. The thing to remember is that, once again, on all these vertical slow juicers, you will need to pre-cut your greens and your celery before putting in any of the machines. That being said, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer will also make the nut butters and sorbets, but not do the other functions that the Slow Star will. And the final thing on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is that they have that recipe book and instruction manual. So that recipe book blows me away, 100+ pages to get you started on a healthy lifestyle today. The final thing about the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is that, besides making it easier to juice with the wide feed chute, they make it easier to clean with the 3 cleaning brushes. So I do appreciate this a lot, and I like the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer a lot at this time. Once again, to sum it all up, at this time, these two machines on this side of the table are my favorites, each for their own particular reason. So be sure to check my other videos for direct comparisons between different juicers side by side to see which ones yield more. Also, I'll probably go into more detail about some of the unique and smaller differences between them. This was kind of like the general overview video for the vertical slow juicers. Hopefully, after watching this video, you've learned my favorite juicers at this time. I want to encourage the manufacturers, if you are a manufacturer watching this, to raise the bar. These two are my favorite machines at this time, but if you guys make a more convenient, easy to clean juicer that works better with less clogging, that makes a high yield, that's better for the public and for me, because I am the public, I juice every day. I want to use that juicer that's easy. I don't want to use a juicer that's hard to clean, that's hard to take apart, or that has a short warranty. Raise the bar on the warranty, raise the bar on how well the machines work, raise the bar on how well it juices the greens, raise the bar on all the different aspects of the juicer. And I'll be glad to say that that's my favorite juicer next time. But until that happens, Slow Star, Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, my favorite picks out there at this time in the marketplace. Hopefully, after watching this video, you'll learn, which features might be more or less important to you, and select the juicer that's going to be right for you, so that you can get it and start including more fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet, so that you can lose weight, have more energy, and lead the lifestyle you want. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do in today's episode is we're going to talk about and unbox the all-new Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer that's now available on Discount.